Hey, the EPA is proposing canceling Propoxur on this edition of the Pest Geek Podcast. Pull out your hose and grab your can. We're about to integrate another Pest Geek Podcast. Hi, everybody. Frank Hernandez here, and welcome to the Pest Geek Podcast, bringing you the latest news, products, and politics from today's leading industry pros, offering you their technical marketing and growth strategies to give you, the pest management professional, that killer edge. Hey, July 1st, 2015, the EPA released a press release stating that they were going to require that manufacturers pull pretty much Propoxur from the market. Now, there aren't too many Propoxur products left on the market. But here, I'm going to read the press release to you in case you haven't read about it, haven't heard. It says the EPA proposes to cancel some uses of an insecticide commonly used for residential, industrial, and commercial purposes. The agency found unacceptable risk to human health when sprayed indoors. This was July 1st, 2015, from Washington, directly from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. It says the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is proposing to cancel certain uses of insecticide Propoxur after preliminary human health assessment found risk from certain applications. Today, we are taking strong steps to protect human health, especially the health of children, from the widely used insecticide, said Jim Jones, Assistant Administrator of the Office of Chemical Safety and Pollution Prevention. The agency will continue its work to reduce exposure from pesticides that pose the greatest risk to those who are most vulnerable. From 1995 to 2013, the EPA has reduced exposure from carbamates, the class of insecticide that includes Propoxur. The use of carbamates had fallen by 70%. The EPA and the registrant reached an agreement to voluntarily cancel certain uses of Propoxur. At the same time, EPA is proposing to cancel certain other pesticide registrations. Voluntary cancellation is the quickest way to fully address these risks. The best protect health. The EPA is proposing to cancel all indoor aerosol sprays and liquid formulations of Propoxur inside hospitals and other commercial or institutional facility where children may be present, and all uses in food handling establishment. After these cancellations, there will be no remaining food uses and no tolerance levels for Propoxur. In 2007, EPA canceled the use of Propoxur sprays inside homes, daycare facilities, and schools. And in 2014, EPA cancellation of Propoxur pet collars. Today's action conducted as part of the agency's registration review program. And then, of course, the EPA is given 30 days notice for people to basically complain about it or file a complaint. And you can find that on our website. We got a link to this press release and also to the proposal PDF document that the EPA has written up as part of this cancellation. Now, there is pretty much, as far as I know, there's only about 3 products really left. One is for crack and crevice, a spray to be used for with Propoxur, and then also there were 2 products that I used to use, which was Propoxur 2%, that originally was by prescription treatment. Later, when BASF bought them out, they had it. Well, it's no longer available. They stopped making it. We tried getting it. We couldn't. The other one was Larva Lure, that originally was from Prentox, and then when Zoecom got that, then I think they're in Verico, the new name that they were under, and Zoecon, but you can't get it anymore. It's already been manufacturer has stopped making. So Propoxur is pretty much no longer. The only other product that I know that it was still, which will probably be gone, is the aerosol spray, in the compressed aerosol spray. I'll get you the name of that. Let me see here. I was just looking at that. and there is no other product, but it's gone. So now what do we do? Because my concern is, I mean, when Ohio tried to get it back in 2010 for bedbug control, the EPA turned them down. So there's a big push to get rid of carbamates. I know that places like Bayer has gone on a lot of their baits to the imidacloprid. They've pretty much stopped using, because they know that the writing is on the wall that these products are all on their way out. Carbamates. I have not used any carbamate. I stopped using them years ago because of those concerns for me as an applicator and for my people as applicators to be exposed to them. And I stopped using them a long time ago. But, we still used the larva lure for, the roach control for American cockroaches. Very effective. Gave us a quick knockdown for American cockroaches. It was labeled for that. And now it's gone. So what we're left with are the pretty much for baits. We have the gel baits. And then we have the granular baits like Max Force Complete. We have the Entice 10 and, the other boric acid baits that are available to us. But they're very, very slow acting. And I think we've been looking at that, we've been testing those products now for a while. And I did notice that they are a lot slower at controlling problems like American cockroaches, which are becoming a huge problem again. Roaches, it used to be that the only calls I got really were mostly ant-related calls, and now more and more of my calls are being because of large roaches, and that's starting to become a problem down here in South Florida. I don't know if you've experienced the same thing that I'm experiencing down here, especially with our humidity and our weather and the high heat. We have non-existent winters pretty much for the most part. I was still in the high 80s during the day during December, and we didn't experience anything. So we're seeing that since these products are no longer available, we have a lot of natural products available. That's great, but it is a concern that we're not going to be able to control a lot of these problems. And what do we have to look forward to? We're not left with many solutions other than IPM. And how much IPM can you do in one single structure to control a lot of the insects without providing pesticide sprays? I think as pest control technician, this has been my concern for the last 6 years, looking at saying embracing IPM as part of what we need to do, because I knew these products were going to be gone. A lot of these are going to be gone. And as Europe banned 1,500 products in one sweep several years ago, there's not a lot of products left maybe in Canada. We still have a large amount available to us, but little by little, it's going to be gone. And start educating our customers now to the fact that you can't rely on pesticides only to control problems. That, I constantly I'm on customers about leaf litters and things that are piling up and wood piling up next to their houses and things piling up on the side of the houses where all these insects can nest, and leftover construction material, and constantly educating our customers about all these issues. The fact that, if you leave your house for 3 months, that I got a lot of customers that travel a lot and houses are empty, and then they come back and they have all kinds of American cockroaches in their home because they left, the pipes are water isn't running through the house, and things like that we're going to have to become, as PMPs, more educated. We're going to have to become highly trained to be able to do the things that a lot of other companies have been doing for a long time in specialty facilities like hospitals, like nursing homes. We're going to have to bring that technology as part of what we do into the residential environment. That the multi-unit dwelling, the apartment buildings, all this stuff is going to become part of our future. And that's it. So we either going to have to embrace it, or we're going to fight against it and continue to do it the old way. But understand that then, a lot of people's days are numbered in this business because they refuse to change. And I think that as this is a wake-up call when they take a certain one product and you can no longer find it and you're used to it and now you have to retrain, I would suggest that you start experimenting with other products as part of your strategy and take 4 or 5 homes. We do normally take about 5 to a dozen homes, and we start doing testing with other products in those homes, and we do test market in those homes to see it. And then we take different types of structures and we monitor and we keep records of what's going on to kind of say, okay, if this was gone tomorrow, what will be left, and are we equipped to use it, and will it work, and what do we expect to tell our customers when those products are gone and we can no longer, they can't, because here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem. We live in an age where we are in a microwave society. Now we're the instant internet gratification society. People are used to, in this country, to getting things very, very quickly when they want it. And the problem with pests, it's the only biological thing in their home. I mean, paint is paint. It's been paint for the last 100 years. Nothing's changed in painting. So when they go paint their house, they paint their house and they say, well, it's paint. The only difference is, do I want Behr paint or do I want Sherwin-Williams paint? And which quality? And then the colors. When they hire an electrician to do work in their homes, electricity hasn't changed in 100 years. I mean, how much new training do electricians need to get? The technology in their home is getting smarter. They can automate their lighting. They can automate everything in their home. Their landscaper, they've been using the same or doing it the same way for 100 years. Nothing is really new in technology. But when it comes to pest and pest control, we're constantly have to upgrade our training. We constantly have to take CEU classes. We are just as professional as the electrician and the technicians that come and install all these great services in their home. And we're dealing with biological products. The roach is biological. It's living. The insects are all living. The rodents are living, and they have a mind of their own. And what do you tell a customer when no longer the product that you had available to you, that you depended on, that you used, and now they're seeing it's not, the service isn't the same. You're doing the same things, but they notice the difference. They notice rise in insects in their home. And all of a sudden, you can't explain. And here's what happens. I take business all the time from people saying, I've had him here in my home for a year, and I'm seeing 10 and 12 roaches a week in this house. The ant controls it's always there, even though he's coming all the time and spraying. And quite frankly, we can't do this anymore. And we have to go in and show them, well, this is the reason why. This is what they're doing. This is what you're telling me they're doing. This is what happens when you can't control these issues. And you have to, and then sometimes it's price. Sometimes they're not wanting to pay any more to do other services. And all the time I get calls from people saying, I tell him to do something different. And I try to talk to people and I try to say, look, you've had him for 5 years. You've had him for 6 years. Can he do this for you? Can he do it? No, he's not willing to do any of that. And we want something different. And this is what happens. You have to be able to evolve. You have to be able to change, but you got to be able to stay ahead of the change to be able to know when it's time to start doing something else and start preparing for that. And a lot of us in our daily lives, we don't have the time to retrain ourselves, and we have to. And those are the things that we're looking at and staying ahead of and looking at it in the industry and saying, I've always been a visionary that says, I know what's coming. I can see it coming. And we got to do something about it, because if not, it's going to just take us. And then what do we do then? We were depending on another product to save us. I don't think so. I think those days are gone, where your new product was coming out every couple of years, replacing another product. I think we're stuck with what we have right now. All we're seeing is reformulations of old chemicals and combination chemicals, but we're not seeing anything new coming out. And I think we need to, as pest control professionals, try to stay ahead of that and seeing what we can do. I want to remind you that all this information is in writing. We got it on our website at www.pestgeekpodcast.com. We got news, we got tools, we got tips, we have a blog, we got a new YouTube channel. We're going to be putting some stuff up there, so check that out. And also, if you want the news and you want to constantly keep up with everything that's going on in the pest control industry, our Twitter podcast is for that. We have about 30 sources from around the U.S. For news that's constantly being updated on our Twitter channel about every hour. So you can find us on Twitter at Pest Geek Podcast. And until next time, folks, it's been a blast talking to you. Hope to see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Pest Geek Podcast. If you have enjoyed the Pest Geek Podcast, please give us a rating, write a review, or subscribe to the channel. You can join the Pest Geek Society by visiting pestgeekpodcast.com. Thank you for listening. See you next time.